Yeah! It's the sweet, sweet sounds of another episode of Social Distance Drinking Club. The banner might not tell you this, but it is episode 26. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. So excited. It is Wreniversary week. You may not have noticed we are big fans of all of our local breweries, all of our local distilleries, all of our local cocktail bars and restaurants. But for some reason, we all have Wren House memberships, and we always have a shitload of Wren House beer at home.
For some reason, they're great. That's the reason.
Yeah, for some reason, that's happening. As usual, we're going to ask you guys, what are you drinking? Thank you for joining us for episode 26. I had got myself a hand on some Mercury, mine, boys. I hope you do too. Wait, what if we go around and go, what are you drinking? Brett? Got it.
Mercury mine, but I'm not going to say it with that weird non-placeable accent you just had.
Don't call it non-placeable. That's not what it was. Adam Green, what are you drinking?
Not Mercury mine. I picked mine up. It's not cold enough, so I grabbed some Chiefs of Chiefs.
Also delightful.
It's really good.
Nice.
So, but I do have my Mercury mine chilling and ready to be consumed, hopefully very, very soon.
Adam Ledford.
What may be my favorite in a list of favorite IPAs from Tombstone, the Rye IPA is back. Rocking the old Juicy Brews Tiku tonight.
Oh, nice. Sexy glassware.
I need to get my hands on one of those rye IPAs from Tombstone, man.
Same. I heard it was amazing. Andrew Hirsch says he's already cracked open a Las Frescas Pitaya. I've got one in the fridge. I'm excited to open it. So excited to open it, in fact.
That might be later in the show for me.
Sure.
And that bad was like 9%, right?
Is it? The Pitaya?
Yeah, it's. I think it's higher ABV.
Listen, I left Wren House and did not realize that I came home to like a triple IPA and a Frescas, and I was just like, well, things are about to get really intense tonight. So, cool show. Guys, thanks for joining us. Tell us in the comments what you're drinking. We've cracked open some Mercury Mine, and we're so excited to kick off Wren Anniversary Week, but also invite you guys back to join us for another episode of Social Distance Drinking Club. We got some masks today, which are cool. So wear them when you go on.
Good.
Oh, yeah, I also got a mask. It's in the fridge right now, cooling off. It was a little warm. So I'm looking forward to wearing my mask in the future when it's at the proper temperature as well.
Do you have a herpes outbreak right now? Are you trying to cool off those sensitive lips?
Let's stop embarrassing the man. Please, let's stop embarrassing the man. Guys, this has been a fun week. I don't know what you guys have done, but I did get out a little bit. I also went and had my nose tickled a second time in 2 months and got my second COVID test yesterday. My dad was nervous and hadn't had one yet, and since they said that we could go get a second one for free, thankfully, the place I went to, or covered by insurance, I went and had my second COVID test. This time they tickled both nostrils. So my brain, left and right, have been stimulated. We'll see how that goes.
When did you get your result back?
I think tomorrow or Saturday. Yeah.
Yusuf's not used to going out and having his brain stimulated when he's interacting with people.
Really not, especially not when I'm hanging out with you guys.
Oh, low blow.
Sir.
Too much? Is that too much? I'm sorry, guys.
It's been fun, but I gotta go.
So a semblance of normalcy today when I went down to Wren House to pick up some Mercury Mine, the Frescas, and say hi to Luke. I walked in there. There was no wait outside. I could walk in. Couldn't walk very far. There's a table on your left. Still some social distance practice. But it was cool to be able to walk in and actually see that the staff was in there hanging out, see people working, and it was refreshing. So cheers to that, guys. We're getting closer and closer to being able to go out and hang out, but it was nice to see some players.
Say, when I went by there,
when the pages aren't spiking.
I went down to the pickup, and they had a pretty full parking lot for the curbside pickup if you want to, or go inside. We ended up going inside because the curbside was full. And yeah, I was like, I'm inside Wren House again. I know I'm not here to drink any beer and hang out with my friends, but it's still good to be inside of Wren House.
It's good to be inside.
Yeah.
For sure. So has anybody made? I know that Adam Ledford, you RSVP'd to a pairing at Dillinger tomorrow. Tell us more.
It looked really interesting. They're doing a Mexican candy and beer pairing tomorrow. I don't have too many more details than that because I didn't need too many more details than that.
So the question is, are you going?
As with all things, they're pretty close by. I have the time window available. I'm going to roll by, check it out. If it looks like a good scene, if I feel comfortable, definitely going to check it out.
I dig it. We've talked about that before. It's weird that now we're all doing drive-by choosings. They're not shootings, they're drive-by choosings. You just cruise by the bar and you go, maybe? Am I? All right. You know, that's what it is. They're drive-by choosings. I've done it at least 3 or 4 times now. It can be intimidating when you find 20 people outside of a bar smoking cigarettes, all huddled around each other. So,
and listen, bar owners and patrons out there, if Yusuf Hawash goes by your bar and is not willing to go inside, you should be ashamed of yourself. That just doesn't happen.
I do enjoy a tasty cold beverage. So if I'm not coming to your bar, you did something wrong.
Fucked up.
Oh man!
Do you have Truly or Michelob Ultra? I'm in.
Oh no!
You mean one of these fine, tasty beverages?
Within arm's
The lengths you'll go to try to get sponsorship, man.
Hey, listen. We're already semi-sponsored, guys. My mom gave me some cash to cover the bill. It's all good.
Hey.
I'm kidding. I pay for this shit myself. Anyways, guys, again, thanks for joining us. Tell us what you're drinking in the comments. It is a pleasure to have you here for our Thursday episode, which is no longer a chef episode for now. It may be at some point. Bless you, Corona. And
I thought he was dabbing.
did he dab on it?
What year is this?
Quiet sneeze indeed.
Well, I was respectful, put my microphone on mute, and sneezed into the elbow, as one should do, even when at home.
Indeed. That reminded me of, I don't know if you guys know comedian Gad Elmaleh. He's a Jewish comedian born in Morocco that did a special on Netflix, and the intro to the video, the Netflix movie, is him like coming into the US and they're checking his passport and asking him if he's, Arab, but he's Jewish and born in the Middle East or North Africa or whatever. And he's like, all right, I'm going to ask you some questions. Show me your best dab. And he's like, a what? He's like, your dab. All right, whatever. Listen, sing me a song that's American. And then he sneezes and he goes, achoo. He was like, that's a pretty good dab, sir.
That's awesome.
Great show. If you guys haven't seen it, Gad Elmaleh, actually one of my favorite comedians. Very funny guy. So, and speaking of funny comedians, I did another live stream earlier today with Bassem Youssef. For any of you guys who are fans of The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, you may be familiar with him. And Bassem is living in Los Angeles right now. He was arrested while he was living in Egypt for his political opinion and told some really funny stories about how the tear gas in Los Angeles smelled sweeter and more fresh than the tear gas in Egypt. During this last weekend. But yes, a lot of fun to do. Check that out. The show's called Hollywood Tales Live. So shout out to that. It's an internal plug. But
I mean, most of that tear gas must have been sold by like the Reagan administration, right?
Probably. It came with a replacement flag in fist, just.
Also, internal plug, probably not buying that beer.
No, internal plug is not a beer name.
You may have to pitch it later. We'll see.
Who knows?
Don't ruin the beer name game because the beer name game is coming up. And also, in a couple of minutes, we have our dear friend Luke, brewer at Wren House, to chat with us and talk a little bit about Mercury Mine. We cheated and opened this early because we were thirsty. So if you've got anything Wren House with you right now, tell us in the comments if you're drinking something from Wren House. and we're going to talk to Luke here in a minute or two. Adam Ledford, I want to touch base with you because you've got the fires in Tucson, and they got intense today.
They did. So they were bad enough that they decided to do some controlled backburn north and to the west of here, like foothills area. Catalina Mountains are the ones that are on fire, and so they evacuated people. If you're familiar with the lay of the land, it's north of Ina and between like First and Alvernon, and then they put everybody one block kind of east of that on the ready as well. It's tough because during the day everything looks okay. It's when it's really glowing at night that's when kind of the sense of urgency really kind of ramps up. So as the sun's going down, I mean, I can see it out of these windows right now. It doesn't seem as bad as yesterday, but it's so hard to tell. 32 acres as of yesterday. 32 acres had been covered so far by the blaze, and they estimated that it was about 10% contained. They are recruiting firefighters from around the state. They're going to pull in from other states as well. At the larger state and national level, they're talking about making it one of the top 2 priorities. Alaska always kind of being the other one, dangerous for fires at this time of year. So it's rough. It's been a very kind of panicky, kind of anxiety-filled day. You know, when you get alerts on your phone and from the university and from everybody, and all of them say like, go ahead and pack your bag, get your bag ready. We're not telling you to go anywhere, but be ready to go like that. We're taking it seriously. Also, we're far enough closer to town that I don't feel an immediate danger, but I have a grave concern for the folks whose houses are right nestled up in the foothills area.
Yeah, for a frame of reference, my sister called me FaceTiming today with my nieces after she went and picked them up from their dad's house because his area is getting evacuated, which is kind of a crazy thing.
Well, you know, it's kind of par for the course for 2020 at this point, because I was walking the pool earlier, and I was with my friends who were with me last week, Caroline and Kevin, and we walked to the pool, and I said hello to one of my neighbors from a distance, and I said, "How's it going?" And he goes, "Trying to stay alive." And I said, "That's 2020's motto right now. Is just trying to stay alive, man. That's it." Like, actually, you know what, guys? Our next T-shirt is just gonna say "Social Distance Drinking Club," and on the back, "Trying to stay alive." That's it. That's all it's gonna say.
I want to be buried in that shirt.
Because that's basically what we've got. And it was he said it so calmly as he continued to put things away in his car. I'm just like, yeah, all right, fair. I'm not mad about that. That seems like an honest answer. So, well, hey guys, we're coming up on talking to our friend Luke from Wren House Brewing Company and talking about Wren House Brewing Co.'s anniversary. It's not a week, it's like 9 days, right? It's like
it's 2020 week.
And it is their 5th anniversary, 2020 week. Yeah, it's not a week. It feels like a plague, but it feels so good.
Don't tease us. Bring the man on. I want to hear about what they're doing.
I shall indeed. Give me a moment, and here we go. Luke.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What's up, guys?
I don't want to pronounce your last name incorrectly, but it is Wortendyke, right?
That was great. Very
Thank
good.
you. So, ladies and gentlemen, Luke Wortendyke from Wren House Brewing Company joining us right now. That way.
Nailed it.
Everything's weird here, Luke. It's very hard.
Yeah, I just noticed I'm solely relying on window light.
and the constant glow
it's
of
dwindling.
and the constant glow of Adam Green, because he's the person on the screen right now. That's okay. Well, Luke, thank you for joining us. It is Wren House Anniversary week, or week and a half, I guess, right?
Yeah. We got a couple break days in the middle, so I think it all comes out to 1 week total.
Fair. All right. And there's lots of stuff coming up. Today, you guys released Mercury Mine, which we started drinking at the beginning of the show. And it is, by the way, phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it came out nice.
Well, tell us about how Anniversary Week is going. Tell us about this beer as well. But let's start with how Anniversary Week was kicked off and how you guys approached Anniversary Week in this particular day and age and situation at the moment. Because normally we were so used to coming in there and elbows and shoulders rubbing in, right? Coming in, grabbing, hanging out, picking up our allotment from our membership, and but also hanging out all day and having drinks. So this is totally different for you guys right now.
Yeah, it's been I don't know. I mean, we fell so naturally into the whole organization of like doing this curbside and delivery thing, that it wasn't until Anniversary was like a week away that we even like kind of realized that it's going to be a lot different and we're not going to have people coming in, and immediately just started brainstorming on how we're going to move forward with that. And I think we quickly decided to take out deliveries that week. And then, a lot of our bartenders had great ideas about how we could better service kind of more people in a more efficient way. And then that pushed us towards having that little corner that you talked about earlier, just to pop in and quick order there if you don't want to order online, or just pick up in person. The parking lot whole thing gets a little crazy. So we kind of went in that direction and it fell really naturally. And yeah, now it definitely feels just a little surreal at this point after the first couple of releases that we've done. It definitely feels different for sure.
Sure.
Was there any sense of maybe extra motivation for this Wreniversary too, knowing what's going on? Because you guys have been producing such great beer throughout the last, few months, but it's like Wreniversary is a big deal. It's another chance to shine, and maybe it's like, yeah, we want to step up even more so for everyone who's been taking care of you guys and to kind of show what you guys can still do.
Yeah, I mean, from the production standpoint, I've really felt like we've been on a really nice roll of really paying attention to a lot of finer details, and I think that just progressed naturally. I don't think it was related to anything, but I think we just really pushed ourselves into being able to consistently make these like somewhat finicky beers where a lot of things can go wrong, like these imperial hazy beers. And we've really found our groove the last few months. It's been really cool to see the production team kind of fall into that and everyone be on the same page. And I think that just led up into Anniversary to just keep making some really nice beers and really push ourselves to do that. We had one full-time employee that recently moved to the back of house. His name's Akil, and he's been kind of lead seller, and I've been training him up on the brew deck. And just having that kind of third guy aside from me and Preston on the team, I think has been a good direction to keep quality going and keep us pushing ourselves for that.
Hey, Luke, so you talked on Instagram, you guys were talking about how this year you're doing virtual collabs with a bunch of, Superstition Meadery and a bunch of other breweries. Can you talk about kind of some of those collabs and how you're handling that virtually?
Yeah. I think the virtually thing was just kind of a quick marketing word. But I mean, definitely true for the most part, because I was just looking at something for reference, but the Holy Mountain and the Wayfinder Hellas, I think we're kind of being a bit shy on some of this stuff, but I'm sure I can talk about it on here. But one of the lagers that we're doing is a Hellas style lager that we've been talking about doing with Holy Mountain for quite some time. We've been friends with Colin for a while, the owner, kind of head brewer there. He's got some family like in northern Arizona, so he's coming into town a lot, and we always talked about brewing like a German lager together. So it was kind of that initiation with some more recent emails, and like obviously no one could come out, but here's what we've been talking about doing. Oh, and Kevin from Wayfinder really wants to like get in on this too, so that all kind of fell into place. For the most part, I just want to double check. The only other collab was really the Tiki Stout that's coming up, which we did with Kyle from Horace Brewing Company, or I guess Horace Blending is his name. And he does, a lot of pastry stouts and such. So we teamed up with him, and he's a big fanboy of Undertow, the Tiki Bar in Phoenix. Yeah. So we got the two concepts together, and we're making like this kind of weird, like super young,
Shout out.
a stout that we only aged shortly to get some minor oak notes, and then also we're hitting it with some tiki kind of things going on. So
Your boys,
virtual, yeah.
because they're a great bar. It's a lot of fun, cool concept, and I was sad because I was told Drew told me to go there one time and said that I could get a hold of some stuff that was from the last time you guys collabed with Kyle. They supposedly had some liquor that was maybe sitting in some coconut that you guys gave them, but it turns out staff drank all of it before I could even get that.
Sounds about right. I told them to do something cool with it, like make like a fancy cocktail. I don't know whatever came of that, but
I'm sure they made one fancy cocktail and then had one really fancy night without.
Yeah.
But and also to Horace and Kyle as well. Cheers to those guys. We've got plenty of friends in San Diego. And Kyle makes great beer. I've got a friend who actually bottles with Kyle. So Mike Novak, if you're watching, if you're not, how dare you? But he is, a father and all and a working man. But if you're not, I talked about you today. So Mike, you guys make great beer.
Yeah,
Also,
dude,
Holy Mountain. Mm.
Yeah, Holy Mountain's great. Huge fan of theirs. Really like their whole vibe with what they're doing. Colin's great.
Don't give it to Luke. Give it to Wren House.
It's not much money, so.
Yeah, Luca. Speaking of which, what's your Cash App? We'll go ahead and splash that up on the screen for everybody who just wants to throw money.
It's a tip thing.
We haven't even done that for us. For
No, we should do that for us first. Sorry. Cart before the horse.
You're not putting anybody's unless you come in here and you're a homeless guy who just found Wi-Fi on a phone you stole from somebody in a McDonald's. You're not getting anybody's Cash App today. And even then, I have questions.
Yeah. So, Luke, man, we jokingly talked about it kind of at the beginning. Brewers have a reputation for potentially loving when there's not as many people around. So, has in any way kind of some of the stay-at-home orders or the reduction of people around been a little bit of a benefit as far as brewery operations go?
Yeah. I guess so.
It's okay to say that.
It's been so long now that I don't know. I guess and maybe it's changed me as a person that now I actually miss having strangers nearby, which I don't think I would have said in the past. It is very nice because I keep some like lab equipment and such in our office in the tap room, and I've got to go in the tap room and into the office. And now it's a lot easier. There's a lot less people. And I can just go in and go out. But yeah, we definitely miss people having people in the tap room. And I for one am excited to see everyone back there for sure.
No, absolutely. Very, very cool way to kind of get everybody excited back in. I mean, it seems like you're taking care of your safety procedures and your protocols. I think you've all done a good job of on social media, that there's some things you can't know until you try it, but it seems like you've thought about everything in advance as far as how to release all these cans, how to make everything sensible, even allowing for the fact that you're going to have more demand during this anniversary. It seems like it has every chance of success.
Yeah. So far we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We canned so much beer this last week, and next week we have just as much, I think a little more to can. If those of you who know us super well know, we have like a giant walk-in storage space, almost 3,000 square feet. That's kind of a byproduct of being like such a self-distribution heavy brewery for the first few years. And now we only kind of have like a pseudo distributor wholesaler. So we're running out of space, and so I really hope that we sell a lot of this beer because we're definitely running out of space to put it.
You're looking around going, what is this, 2018?
Wait a minute. The man said he was running out of space to put his beer. Listen, I've got 2 fridges. Not as big as yours, but I promise you, Luke, I can stop by there again tomorrow, mask on and everything, and I'm happy to store it. I'm not to what happens to that beer.
It's a craft beer brand.
That's the super cliche brewery joke for between brewers is a lot of customers will like be in the parking lot maybe and see you moving a keg around, and they're like, "Hey, you can load that up right in my truck here."
I've heard that one at every dive bar I've been to during drinking during the day. Not that I do that often. When they come in with a delivery of liquor and someone's got a pallet of bottles and someone says, "Hey, you can put that right here. It'll be okay on the table." I'm like, guys.
It's good every time. It's a good joke.
Since you're here and we're talking, if we're talking at a social distance, I'm just saying, if you need room in the fridge, I got it.
Let me just on that soapbox, that's right up there with, well, it's a nice beer, but I wouldn't want to drink a whole pint of it. As far as unoriginal shit you did not come up with, and we've all heard 3,000 times, you basic.
It's comedy gold.
Yeah.
There's a really good question here up there for you. It's tease the member beers for anniversary week.
Yeah. I noticed folks have questions here. The member beers, is there multiple? I didn't know. I didn't think there was. I think the only member beer we've got is, I'm sorry. There are 2. Yeah, I'm an idiot. The first one is, I'm sure it's fine.
We won't tell anyone.
We're all in there. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So the first one is, I think it's the first one that we release, at least the first one in packaging, is kind of a ambitious little blend. It's a Cactus Catalog beer. So as a lot of members know, those can be a bit obscure with like the beers that go into them and stuff. I mean, we definitely get kind of, I don't know, when we go into blend those, it's like anything goes mentality. Let's see what this beer tastes like with this beer. And so this one ended up being half of it was, so literally 50%, 2 barrels. I'll start with the cool part. It's called Brewery Mill. And if you've known Wren House for a while, that was our first barrel-aged beer ever that we only had on tap. So we filled about 6 of those barrels back in 2015. End of 2015, I think October they were filled. We ended up using all 4 of those in different blends, 4 of the 6 in different blends years ago. And then I just noticed in the far back of our barrel room, we had 2 left coming up on 5 years old. I think that was kind of a cool concept to do for a 5-year anniversary, is have a beer that has been aging for 5 years, which in the brewing world, that's obviously quite a long time to age just a non-mixed culture, just straight imperial ale for that long. This was a wee heavy imperial Scotch ale with a little bit of smoked malt. After 5 years, a lot of that smoke has completely diminished. It's turned into this like really complex toasted toffee sherry, this slightly fruity, just super strong oak beverage. And then that is blended with equal parts to just like what we think is like the workhorse of our barrel room, which is just an imperial stout aged in Buffalo Trace barrels, which is like the most common barrel we use there. So just having that like young-ish, almost ready big imperial stout blended with the Brewery Mill, I think just had 2 ends of the spectrum, and they meshed together to this really cool, complex imperial ale. I don't know what else to call it. It's just a really
So there's I don't want to tease everything all at once, obviously, and I know we're getting close to doing that, but I want to mention a couple things because we're getting really deep into this. We're so excited to have you guys on. We're so excited to have you guys as guests and collaborate with you guys for Wreniversary week, as we like to call it. We've dubbed it Wreniversary week. I hope somebody else has too.
I thought
That's a great name. We were just talking that we were mad that we didn't think of that like years ago.
How the hell did you guys miss Wreniversary week? All right, listen, don't worry about it. It's fine. We got you. Social Distance Drinking Club has your back. We are happy to be here to help you market Wreniversary week. But with that being said, I don't want to give away too much. We've got a couple of giveaways that are going to happen. And for anyone who's watching right now, tell your goddamn friends because I'm going to show some pictures here in a few minutes. When I went and saw Luke a little bit ago, we've got hat, mug, shirt, Social Distance Drinking Club mask, and I'm going to throw in the Social Distance Drinking Club shirt as well. We're going to do 2 giveaways, 2 packages. Yeah, listen, stop ordering like extra larges. I didn't realize you were going to wear them to sleep, Adam. Long story short, that's happening soon. But Luke, I want to get into 2 things real fast. I know you gave me a can of Las Frescas. Boys, did you get one as well?
Got 2.
You got 2. I think you've got one as well, Brett Berry, right?
I have 2.
So I want to hit a real quick, like 60-second brief tasting notes on Mercury Mine because we started drinking it early on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't really talk about it in depth. So rather than talk about it in depth, because on Sunday, we're going to get crazy in depth about one of the beers that we're going to touch on 2 days before anyone gets their hands on it. And what's the name of that beer?
Sunday, we're going to taste
It'll be Tuesday's
Birthday Boy Wally.
There you
Just
go.
a new Wally triple IPA.
Yes.
By the way, Tuesday's release, beer name.
Beer name. Luke doesn't know yet.
Oh, okay.
We play the beer name game, so you're hanging in here for that. But
okay.
So Tuesday's release, Birthday Boy Wally. Coming up, you guys will get a chance to hear about it and unfortunately vicariously live through us as we drink Birthday Boy Wally on Sunday with Luke.
Yeah.
But, real quick, Mercury Mine, triple IPA. Like I said, didn't realize I was coming home to this. And then I sat down, cracked it open, and probably have a slight buzz now because I have almost finished this in 30 minutes. So give me the elevator pitch on this bad boy so we can tell everybody how good this is. And I'll go grab my Frescas while we do that.
Okay, cool. I'll try and be quick. I'm known to ramble about beer quite a bit.
Man. Take your time.
So we took a pretty simple grain bill that we use for a lot of our imperial hoppy beers. This one was no different. It had a bit of North American Pilsner malt, a touch of Arizona grown Pilsner type malt out of Arizona. And then as of recently, we've been really upping what we call cereal grain, which is, oats, wheat, rye, stuff like that. For this beer in particular, it gets about equal parts oats, flaked oats to 2 different raw wheat varieties. One being Sonora wheat, which is very low complexity, just kind of a big, chewy, protein heavy grain. And then the other one is Bluebeard Durham, which is very popular, incredibly popular and shipped to Italy for most pasta varieties. But it grows very well in Arizona. It's got a very good, deep, weedy flavor that I don't get in a lot of these hazy IPAs. So I think it's very complimentary in our triples. It's kind of, this one in particular is a Dreamy Draw, just amped up. Dreamy Draw is a 100% Galaxy double IPA. This one is, we amp up all the grain to get higher sugar content, higher gravity, higher Plato. And by doing that, we end up matching that with a bigger hop load. So just a touch more in the whirlpool of all Galaxy 2018 crop. And then same with in the dry hop, we up that by like 30% from Dreamy Draw. Same Galaxy crop, which has been incredible this last year, and we're fortunate to have gotten that year's crop. And then other than that, not too different. Brew science wise, mashed really hot. Go real simple on the water, just make it really soft. Don't overthink it. And then dry out early and package. And it's really comes out to this really cool, hazy Galaxy bomb. The Galaxy comes off to me is like this almost like high C or whatever that like artificial grape drink is. It just tastes like it's got this like aroma of like fruit punchy grapeness, and then it's got a lot of like classic Galaxy like peach and citrus and a big passion fruit thing, but not in the way that passion fruit is like sour. Is just like the way passion fruit smells, and you're not going to get hit with that acidity. And yeah, that's it. That's Mercury mine.
It's fucking delicious. Pardon my French, but it is fucking delicious. Yes, it is fantastic. It is so good. Dreamy is also, well, I mean, if we're going to talk about the best, we can get into that. Maybe Sundays when we get into that, where we argue about what the best is.
Man, Dreamy's so good. I don't drink a lot of double IPAs or anything.
Listen, we have
one that I'll like self-admit that I really enjoy.
We have a plan to do an episode where we talk about each of our favorite breweries locally here in Arizona, and then what our favorite beers are from those breweries and rank them. I have a feeling it's going to turn into one of us closing our laptops and then like driving at 95 miles an hour to someone else's house to beat their ass. So, and then because Adam Green lives in Central Phoenix, it won't be him. So I'll just have to go fight Brett, and I don't want to fight Brett.
You might be close to Ledford.
To get to Adam Ledford versus you, but somebody's going to get their ass beat if we start arguing over which Wren House beer is my favorite beer, because that's
you're wrong, Yusuf.
I was going to say preview for that power ranking and a question for Luke. White Mountain Road.
Can we call Dana White, because like there are no sports right now, and this might be the time where we could just give somebody some sports. It's just beer arguments, and then people just dive over a fucking table and just, you know.
Let's do American Gladiators style pugil sticks over a Nerf pit. Let's go old school on this.
So we talked. We talked.
Let me ask my question about White Mountain Road.
Yeah. I got a question from Brett here.
Wait, hold on. I didn't hear it, Brett. I'm sorry.
I said White Mountain Road, please.
That's the question.
So,
Give me
and then
more.
I was going to disappoint Brett.
Hi, Brett.
And yes, Adam, Devil's Claw is very nice. Probably one of my favorites.
Don't open that. Don't open it.
No, I'm not opening this. No.
The White Mountain Road. I don't know if that'll ever happen in its full glory, but I will never say never. But I just did. But it was kind of a weird circumstance thing that just kind of fell into place. The White Mountain Road, fun fact, since we're telling secrets on here, was actually was the reason it's kind of circumstantial is the beer before it was Desert Tropical, that Horus Stout thing with coconut.
Very good.
Super good. We added a ton of coconut to that beer for like a 10-barrel batch.
First batch loaded, right?
Yeah. We had so much coconut, and then those cans exploded the first batch. Error on production wise, we're new to the pastry stouts, so we figured it out, did it again, and we ended up adding all that coconut to this large volume of beer. But then we had 2 whiskey barrels, or maybe it was 1, I can't remember, that was exceptional, with a bunch of vanilla in it, I think it was. And then we ended up racking the Desert Tropical off all that, just hundreds and hundreds of pounds of coconut. And then ended up putting just like 50 gallons of barrel-aged beer onto that used coconut. Which was like, if you do that math, putting that little beer into that much coconut is like just so pointlessly dumb. And so that was our chance to like see what happens. And it ended up being a ton of coconut in one beer. So I don't know if that'll ever happen again, but maybe. I don't know.
That beer was magical.
A ton of coconut in one beer might as well be a beer name, because we've all had a ton of coconut in one beer.
That's good.
I thought you were going to go with used coconut as the beer name.
I'll pass.
It's cheaper. It's used.
Before we do that, guys, I put this in the fridge. It is getting warm. Does everyone else have their last Frescas? Luke, you brought one with you, right?
I have one in my fridge.
We talked about it, so you know you've got one.
Yeah.
I need to go grab one and also share some with Ellie so I don't get murdered.
Well, don't get murdered. We're going to talk Las Frescas Pitaya here in a second. It looks amazing. I'm super excited. Luke, I'll give you a second to go to the fridge. I'm just going to go ahead and take you out of the stream here. Thank you guys for joining us and hanging out. Gang, we're all here. We've lost Brett Berry. It's me and Adam Ledford, and we're going to play the beer name game as well as we crack open a Las Frescas Pitaya. I'm excited for the beer name game. If you guys don't know what it is, we'll tell you about it. It is essentially the cue card from SNL, right?
Not at all like SNL's skit that they have done successfully.
No, because we're funnier than them.
Totally.
And don't tell them that, but we are.
No, but Colin Jost and Michael Che started getting into a bit where they would. What's up?
If you don't know Che's name, I'm sad, but yes, you nailed it. Great.
I got it, man. But basically, they did a bit where at least one time a season they would write cue cards for each other and not have any advance notice. They had to read them live for the first time, and we talked about it, and we wanted to kind of bring that to screen, and we did it last week for the first time, and it was fantastic, and we're excited about doing it again. So.
Well, as we're doing that, it looks like we're cracking open a Frescas. And
well, real quick, while you're cracking that Frescas, I want to bring Luke on because I have one more important question for him before we get too far off.
Luke,
here's my question. You talked about Horace. You talked about Undertow. Dude, when is Wren House going to get into the Tiki game, my friend?
I can't believe you got one of those. Are you a Horace member?
Yeah, I was a year one member. I'm still going strong.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he was so stoked on those mugs.
They turned out amazing.
He was sending me the in process pictures and stuff. Yeah, it looks great. I don't know. I feel like with a little more planning that this could have been our perfect moment to do a Tiki mug.
Probably. Also, again, another shout out to Kyle. I'm gonna try and hit up Kyle, by the way, and see if we can't get him on here.
I bet he'd be on. He's a great guy.
But he's a very quiet guy. He doesn't try to do this kind of thing. So
he's great in a small group. I don't think you're giving him enough credit. He'd love to do this.
Yeah, it'd be fun. All right, guys, your name game coming up.
Mercury mine from Wren House. It's really good. We should talk about it.
Sorry, buddy, you waited too long. I got a couple of these I'm going to hand out to my socially distant friends on the couch like I did last week. Guys, you want to come grab these real quick? I'll set them over here for you. And with that being said, we'll do Las Frescas Pitaya moment where I'm going to pour mine in this beautiful glass because it looks so good. And it's in a Caracal glass that I've unfortunately cracked but kept because it's a Caracal glass, guys. Come on. But, yeah, looks great.
This is quality content right here.
It is quality content. It's way better than that.
Is it?
I disagree. Oh. Rude.
Look, if you don't know already, we have a running joke where we just throw Adam out and bring him back in.
It's hilarious.
For some of us, but it's time for the beer name game. And Luke, you get to be our first victim. I mean, participant.
You're just throwing him in cold. You're not even going to give him an example.
Right, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll take the first one. How's that sound?
Yeah, that works for me. Yeah.
That works for you. All right. So are you just giving me a name or are we giving me a description? What are we doing? You guys tell me. I'll tell you. I'll look where you want me to.
Oh, Yusuf, I'm going to go ahead and copy you into the private chat. Give me just 1 second here.
I'm excited. I'm going to stay away from the private chat while I said, by the way, Luke, this is good.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
Yusuf, when you are ready to go, it is on, sir.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the beer name game is on. And do you have a banner for this before I click on it?
Nope.
No, I'm gonna make it.
All right. I'm not looking at Brett's. I'm looking at yours, right?
It should say Yusuf.
There is no name of the beer there.
It's there. Just read.
Okay.
It's a cue card. It's the game.
Any good brewer knows how difficult it is to manage production. Some batches are complicated, some batches are easy. But the thing I've learned is that you really can't give your full attention to more than one batch at a time. A testament to how hard I work to stay out of trouble around all these different batches. I hope you'll try and appreciate juggling all these batches. A wild ale, a spontaneous beer that takes a shocking amount of work to keep it separated from the other. Juggling all these batches. Cheers.
Well done. Well done.
Boy, if we change one letter, that's
I think that's the joke.
It's a slow build. It's a slow build.
Is it?
I don't know.
It looks like
You did get-
Luke got so bored he put on music.
It's like I don't like this game at all.
Yeah, Yusuf, why are you concerned about one letter? It would just be jiggling all these batches.
Jiggling all these batches, we have far different conversations. All right, that was fun. By the way, our friend Chris Burns Macbeth has shown up already with a beer name. Chris, hang on to it. I see it. I don't want to show it to everybody yet. Don't look. Everybody ignore the chat.
I looked.
It's going to be too late. We're going to just pop it in. I won't tell who it's going to go to. But, Luke, are you ready to read a description of a beer you've never seen before?
Yes.
Okay. Adam Redford, you have one for us.
No. As we mentioned in the beginning of the show, I don't.
I wrote one. It could be for anybody.
Give it to him, Adam Green. Go for
All
it.
right, let me pull it up.
We never mentioned at the beginning of the show. Don't ever talk about pre-production during the production. Adam. I know it's only been 2 months, but stop it.
Hey, to be fair, Adam and I have a podcast, and we try to actively not prepare for shows.
Well, I get that because you can just bitch about sports all you want, especially if there's no sports, because then it's just openly bitching about sports that don't exist.
I believe it's called batching about sports.
Yeah, batching about sports. I'm sorry, batching about sports.
All right, let me pull this in here.
Adam,
Guys,
are you racing into the private chat?
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we're playing the beer name game with our dear friend Luke Wortendyke from Wren House Brewing Company, and we're talking Wren House beers. We will run for a short while here, but hey, Luke, you see where the private chat is?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, buddy.
Okay. This pungent IPA will have
Start
you.
with the beer name. Start with the beer name.
Oh, you start with the beer name. Okay.
Yeah.
This one we do.
Thought that was secret. Microwaved salmon. This pungent IPA will have you cursing the name of whoever released its scent into the world. What fresh hell is this? You will proclaim as you get a scent of all 29 hops, all of which were grown and rinsed in fresh manure. Your sense of smell inhibited. You'll have a hard time guessing it's only 1.7% ABV. And once you realize that, you'll be even more upset because then none of the sensory hell you just went through will have been worth the damn. So enjoy your microwaved salmon.
Well done. Well done.
Pretty good.
Adam, you missed the opportunity to say best to be enjoyed at your desk at work.
I'm not a writer.
You're telling me.
Luke, now that you've done that, let's talk Las Frescas Pitaya because this is absolutely stunning. But I will make a comment that this Frescas is different than some of the Frescas we've had previously. Some of them are very hazy, dark. They're hard to see through. There's a lot more of a juiciness to them. This looks more like fruit juice than like a smoothie, for example. Something that I would compare to the Answer or from 408, I think is the place. So
450, right?
458.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's, I could go into this for a while, but there's kind of two schools of thought with these beers. And the guys who are doing them the best have certain like styles of production. One being, some of these like 450 North, and the Answer, as far as I know, that they haven't changed this way. And a lot of other small breweries. they're making these beers with a sour base, right? They maybe have like a 5-6% ABV blonde sour ale in their fermenter. And they usually kettle sour this in the kettle. Sometimes it's long-aged oak soured. Sometimes it's force acidified with a various blend of acids. So you have two camps. One that has this sour beer, and they will finish it and then crash it cold, and then add just a ton of typically aseptic, clean fruit puree to this beer. So there's no yeast, nothing going on. And then they keep it cold and pack and blend it. They agitate all the pulp into the beer and then package it into can. This leaves you typically with like 30% of those canned sugars are still fermentable. And if you let that sit out, it's going to ferment in the can. And typically that's where you see all these like can explosions happen and such.
Oh, yeah.
And we definitely did that for a long time. We were doing those in the crowlers, and it was kind of like this no one was really knowing what they were doing. But when you mix fruit with puree, it tastes good. And then so to quicken this up, the second camp is some higher end breweries. To mind comes the Veil. The Veil Brewing out of Richmond will, or a similar brewery like the Veil, might brew this sour beer, crash it, add all this fruit, just like the first example I gave. But instead of packaging this with live active yeast, they take this cold product and pasteurize it before they package it. So at that point, you have this shelf-stable but super thick, murky smoothie beer that's not going to blow up in cans, but you got a really nice sense of fresh fruit and thickness to it. So now we find ourselves falling in the third camp, where we don't have the space or the production sense to buy a giant pasteurizer. And we also don't feel comfortable giving our customers a product that's not finished and a product that is not going to be the same way that it is when it leaves the brewery. Even if it only partially ferments in these cans and they don't blow up, but you still drink them, they're going to taste off. It's going to be really different. So we're finding ourselves in the third camp, where let's blend the concept of over fruiting a sour beer as much as possible, putting as much fruit into that tank as possible, but doing it into a high gravity beer. So when we add that fruit, it ferments out completely until it's shelf stable, and it's also combined with this high gravity sour ale, usually 7.5 to 9% base, and then we get this really nice shelf. We let that fruit ferment out completely before packaging, and then we get this really nice shelf stable, super fruited beer. So that's kind of a long explanation of where we're at in the sour beers, is that we're not comfortable giving customers beers that could blow up on their counter, that could taste different than when we sell them. And we also don't have a pasteurizer. So now we're over fruiting the beers as much as possible, but still treating them like beer.
Super quick question. And I know we can go on about this for probably a fucking hour easily.
Yeah.
Why not do what some of us here in Arizona are not necessarily doing, guys, if anybody's watching, but getting a hold of Answer beers through means that involve shipment, maybe someone on an airplane. Like, why not do exactly what those guys are doing and creating these big, fat, juicy smoothies that have a ton of fruit, that have a ton of flavor, that look like they're pulpy, and I have to roll them around my table before I pour them into a glass. I mean, things that I have poured for people and they have practically fallen out of their chair. Why not do that? Because it's not like they have a secret anymore. Everyone knows what they're doing.
Yeah, totally. I think it's just a personal choice when it comes down to that. There's so many variables when you make quote unquote beer like that. There's a lot of things like how well are you blending before you're canning? Is one can going to have like 90% fruit puree and barely any beer? Is the can right after that going to be the opposite? And then because of that, your ABV is going to be so skewed because you're not blending this fruit puree properly. So yeah, they say it might be 4% ABV, but if you're the guy who got all fruit in his can, it's 1% ABV.
Well,
So there's just too much variability on a scale of our size to be able to do something like that. I talk about the Veil quite a bit because they are such a full-scale operation and they pasteurize and they do it so well that I think that should be the goal for a lot of these brewers wanting to do this. We got a question here. Does adding all the fruit lower the alcohol content? I thought I remember hearing 450 had beers that were low alcohol than stated on the can.
They did catch that. They definitely did.
Yeah, so I can honestly say I couldn't imagine that being a purposeful thing. I could definitely imagine that being a ton of fruit puree in that blend is actually making it into that can, and it's just not blended properly. It's really hard to mix a thick fruit puree with a really light beer and get that mixture perfect for every can. So I bet you could test some of their cans and they would actually be higher alcohol than some of the other cans that are lower. But that's just my perspective on it. I'm not sure exactly how they do.
Tell you what, look, I don't want to ruin the fun because I think we're going to have a lot of people ask us a lot more questions. And I want to save that for then. I'm not cutting you off because I've got a lot of things for us to talk about.
But that's our reason why ours aren't chunky anymore. To answer your original question,
I don't personally like it because I missed the chunk. Yeah. But also, don't anybody pop in here and tell me I missed the chunk as a beer name.
Okay, keep going. Okay. No, Luke, I would say, I think the bright point is that, yeah, you can't control customer behavior and people are going to put these into boxes in the summertime and try to mail them to other people. Ill-advised, terrible idea, but they do it, and the smoothie Silk Road is live and active, and it's not doing the beer any favors. So I get that. I think the other kind of the downside of going away from the sour stock plus fruit additive model is that now you're back to really needing to use fruits that have good predictable fermentation patterns, and that was kind of the free for all that started to happen in those sour stock plus fruit smoothie blends, is because you could do friggin' anything. He's like, you're worried about diacetyl with peaches? Not anymore. We made a peach smoothie,
Yeah.
But the other thing is that you do, like, what you guys are doing, what I really like is that you're delivering a 9% sour fruited ale, and those have almost gotten forgotten, and I'm really glad that you're pulling that back, because I will take that over the smoothie beer any day. Give me ABV that carries flavor and actual processed made actual beer,
Yeah, I mean, in that 9% was tested by our friends at Four Peaks. We do that for any of our kind of high alcohol stuff. But honestly, man, the Las Frescas that you're drinking now, the target was only 7.5%, maybe 7%. But that just goes to show when we add all this fruit, they can ferment more than we expected. So with this case, I think the dragon fruit in itself, maybe there's a lot of variables going on, but something happened where it fermented about a bit drier than it needed to, which upped the ABV about 1 to 1.5%, and got us to 9. But yeah, I mean, I agree that I think there's a lack in the market for these like 7+% super fruity, kind of tart, refreshing beers. And I think we're finding a nice corner in that to kind of do our own thing with that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Luke. This is delightful, and I decided to pull out my my old fancy member glass from my first year's Store Society member. It is delicious, though. This is one of the better Frescas I've had in a while, and I like all the Las Frescas.
Oh, cool! Thanks, man. Yeah, just unique, right? Just kind of different.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I think the best one we ever had, I can't remember the name of it, Brett, but I brought it to your house. I picked it up on the way over.
Which one was that? That one might have been the best Frescas. I forget which one it was. Gosh.
Was that back when we crowlered them, or?
It was a crowler.
Yeah, we did so many.
Last summer almost? It might have been almost. It would have been around late like September, October.
Yeah.
I see this guy Chris's question about the ABV, and I'll point out to him, I was saying that this is kind of like a dragon fruit wine almost, because it's so much dragon fruit, and it's really only like 60% beer. So yeah, it is almost like this like tropical wine of sorts. Kind of just super interesting.
That is a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, I want to tease a couple things and tell everybody we're going to hang out with you again on Sunday. Also, we've got some giveaways that we're going to post tomorrow. So if you're watching right now, you're getting a sneak peek on these giveaways. You're also getting a sneak peek on some stuff that's coming up. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your cousins, I guess, or maybe whoever's sitting next to you that's not listening, or translate it into Spanish. It's fine. Arabic, Chinese. Tell everybody. But yes, we have got a giveaway coming up. I've got a photo of one of those things loading up right now. Unfortunately, it didn't load quick enough. I do want to play one more round of the beer game, the beer name game. But there you guys go. That is one of our giveaways. It's going to be a Social Distance Drinking Club mask and a Wren House 5-year shirt. You don't get both of those cans, but they are sexy. I'm sorry. They look so good. They look so good. A lot of fun. Thank you, Luke, for hanging out. And I'll tell you what, if you want to and you think about it before Sunday, you can write a beer name for us. You don't even have to write the description. You can just give us a name, and we'll come up with a description.
All right. I'll keep it in mind.
Sounds good. Thanks, Luke. Cheers.
Thanks, Luke, man.
Thank you, Luke. Good stuff.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Great beer.
Thanks, everyone, for listening, and thanks for coming to our anniversary. See you.
Heck yeah.
We will continue Wreniversary week.
I love anniversary week.
Gentlemen, we're at the 1 hour mark, so I want to toss in one more beer name for everybody and knock this thing out. Let's do it.
Oh man. Well, I have one for Brett ready to go here in just a second.
Let's go. Brett Berry, beer name.
All right. Well, I mean, you guys feel free to chat while I copy and paste.
Oh, I was going to say, I wrote one inspired by what Luke said that I picked up as a beer name, but it might not be for audiences, and or we save it for him to read Sunday.
It might not be for audiences.
Well, like the public. It's from the same beer producers that brought us Ash to Mouth last time. Thanks to
You're welcome.
I had to read that.
I had an absolute blast doing that with Luke today. It was a great time. The triple IPA might have gotten my head around about.
I thought Wreniversary was just the name. I didn't realize that wasn't a Wren House thing.
Oh no, we made that up.
Like I thought I'd heard that before. Like,
no, when we talked about it and I sent them that email, they were just like, "Huh?"
I mean, I feel like there's a non-zero chance we drunkenly told each other Happy Wreniversary while drinking the member things last year.
Yeah, good chance we've all said Happy Wreniversary before. All right, Brett, are you ready? It's beer.
Hang on.
You can't hang on, man. We're hit the hour mark.
All right. No, so this one was just a little bit longer than the chat could handle, so I had to do it in 2 bursts. Brett, you are good to go, sir.
Great.
Log in. All right, Brett, go.
Our assistant brewer and resident chemistry expert, Enol Smith, has discovered a revolutionary way to encapsulate lupulin essence into oxygen-activated microspheres. Jesus Christ, what am I reading right now? What does that mean? Well, those little spherical gems that Enol invented gave you time-released hop aroma and flavor after the opening and pouring the beer. Imagine having all these hop beads bursting open with their magical goodness, giving you fermenter fresh beer quality in a can that might be weeks old. That's happiness right there. So without further ado, we're pleased to announce Enol Pleasure Beads IPA. If you pull it out of the fridge at exactly the right time, get ready for a surprisingly pleasant experience. All right. I have one for Ledford now.
I'm noticing a theme in Ledford's beers descriptions, though.
I have given you guys 4 or 5 amazing things, and only 2 of them have been about buttholes.
You've given us plenty, and it's been good.
Well, now, Ledford, because of that, this is now intended for all audiences, so this one is for you.
Oh boy! You let me know when it's ready to rock. Just a beer.
So it's inspired by Luke. Something he said for the beer name.
By the way, this SETI #1 experimental hazy IPA El Dorado and experimental hop number blah blah blah. Dark Sky, very good, very good.
All right, Adam, you got the banner for me?
Yeah,
Where are we at?
Okay,
I'm now giving this to Adam Ledford to read.
Okay.
Okay, we ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to private chat. It's our anniversary, so it's our one time per year special sour brown ale. Ferment in the can. We waited all year for this. We take the wine-soaked sour mash and leave it in the barrel for longer than most would consider a reasonable period of time. The result is aromatic ecstasy. Ferment in the can. Jackass.
You had that coming.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Just putting this out there so everybody can know that this is a thing. The beer name game is fake beer names and fake beer descriptions. We're not drinking aromatic ecstasy.
All right, Green, are you about ready? Are you about ready?
Am I? I've got one for somebody. Can I give one to somebody?
Ah, man. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Adam Green, do you want to read this?
I have one
Not, but I'll do
for
it.
Adam Green.
Hold on. Do you have one specifically for Adam Green?
Yes, I do.
And in that case, I have one for Brett Berry.
Okay.
Awesome.
Right, Brett Berry. There you go. Good luck. It's time.
Let us turn up the beat. So your friend Molly wants to rage at a racetrack while a guy sips vodka and hits the space bar? It's hot out there, bro. You can't just bro out and bro so hard mother truckers want to find you. You need some fruits and veggies on day 3 of cocaine-fueled party night. Get your mouth wrapped around Let Us Turn Up the Beat. It won't ask for your number or your name, but it'll keep you cozy in that tent. Now go take a shower, champ. God damn it.
So close. I like it.
Let us turn up the beat.
All right.
That was a
Man, vitamin.
Yusuf doesn't do the blue comedy or the brown comedy as me and Ledford are apparently stuck on.
All right, Adam, don't look at the chat for a second. I got to do the old two-parter one more time.
All right, last one, guys. We're coming up on an hour 10.
Oh, I'm closing this out. Oh, I got to do
We're
it.
closing this out.
Thank you for joining us, guys, if you're watching. Appreciate it.
I'm amazed they're still watching.
You shouldn't be. We have merch now, dude. Like, stop
Fair enough.
being that guy. We could just be 4 bros sitting on a computer doing nothing. Oh, wait, we are 4 bros.
Hey, well, hang on. All right, Adam, if you're ready to go,
I'll do this.
let's do this.
Oh, it's not as long as the one you gave Brett, so that's good.
I'll just read it.
That's what she said.
You know what's the best thing ever? Spending time with my fiance. You know what? I was dreading this year, having to watch all the March Madness basketball games she likes. I just can't take it. It's just a bunch of sweaty men running around, bouncing a ball and trying to score touchbacks or whatever. Boring. Now with the pandemic in full effect, my fiance and I get to snuggle on the couch and watch Downton Abbey. That's why I am proud to drink I'm glad COVID killed basketball summer shandy. Because let's face it, life is too short to be obsessed with sports.
Wait, you're putting these in quotes because I'm glad COVID killed basketball. Summer shandy might be a better thing with quotes.
You know what's funny about that one, besides all of it? Nothing in there that remotely resembles a beer idea. Nothing, no beer in there but shandy. There's one related word in there.
Todd up with our marketing. Todd, if you know anything about marketing, tell us. If you don't, shut the fuck up. Come on.
Good point. Andrew, we do too. We do too. Everybody who knows,
Evidently, I don't.
everyone who knows Adam's real background knows why that one was written for him, because he eats, breathes, and poops sports.
No, it doesn't.
We have reached where I like to call the hyper golden hour, where we passed the hour mark, where we've had 2 drinks on the show, and everyone knows Once you pass 2 drinks, things get a little bit dangerous. So, on that note, gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and pour myself a shot of Fernet Branca like I usually do every once in a while and close the goddamn show out. Thank you all for joining us. It's Wreniversary week. Sorry, Wren House, if we've offended anyone on this show, but it's not happening, I promise. We're all friends. We are excited to launch a giveaway tomorrow with Wren House and talk to Luke on Sunday and get a taste of Tuesday's release. So we'll see you guys on Sunday, 1:30 for the Sunday Day Drink. With that being said, gents, I saved myself a little sip to share with you guys. So cheers to you guys and to everyone watching. Salud. This has been another episode of the Social Distance Drinking Club. This time it was, honey, you forgot our Wreniversary? I hope you didn't.